What's up, guys? Based on Cinema, back at it again. Today we have for you Missing Couple, a found footage film from 2024. A real, quote, van life couple were on an adventure to renovate an abandoned farm in the middle of nowhere, Mississippi. Cameras blazing, they chronicled their project on social media, but the farm was full of disturbing surprises, especially at night. I'm Jacob.
I'm Nick.
And found footage films in totality for Nick and I is very close to home. We kind of my horror experience was probably bred on found footage, like early like late 2000s YouTube.
Yeah, dude.
You know, like and early 2010s YouTube was the place. Creepypastas were on fire. And you know, you got a lot of I listen to a lot of Mr. Nightmare nowadays, a lot. And
So good.
I know. I listen to Mr. Nightmare probably once a day. It's great when you're driving. Time goes by
So
like
nice.
that.
Yeah, dude.
You know, it helps me sleep sometimes too. It's
Dude, yes.
yeah, it helps me sleep sometimes.
So glad you understand.
I was telling somebody that the other day, like, you listen to horror stories that are supposed to be authentic, and it helps you go to sleep. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
To each their own, you know. That's my white noise, you know. I used to listen to Rain. Now I listen to Mr. Nightmare to go to sleep.
It's like that meme. I hope you don't mind, but I listen to some white noise when I go to sleep.
Yeah.
And they turn over. You just hear.
So, you know, Slender Man, Marble Hornets, Tribe 12. That was me and Nick's comfort zone. That was where we found a lot of our love for horror, specifically found footage, because, you know, Nick was always huge into Halloween, Friday the 13th when he was younger. I didn't get into horror until I was around maybe 11, 12. You know, watching Halloween, watching Friday, watching Marble Hornets, and that was like the real big introduction. And so me and Nick have a soft spot, but also like a pretty hard critique when it comes to found footage.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think nowadays we're seeing the uptick for found footage increase.
Coming back.
It's coming back. I mean, horror by itself is coming back, but found footage movies with the whole analog horror subgenre just thriving right now. So much so that a backrooms creator on YouTube, a movie studio, found their work to be so well done that they gave him the tools to actually make a feature film. And that was with A24 of all companies.
Apparently he didn't originate the back rooms.
No.
But he created the first video that blew up and people consider the definitive backrooms.
Yeah, the video it is a series but that was when people when people thought of Slender in the early 2010s, Marble Hornets, you know, and Tribe 12 were the top two. There's one other one which I'm forgetting. But
Everyman Hybrid.
Everyman Hybrid, thank you very much. Yeah, so those are the three. How could I forget? I'm so sorry.
Top dogs.
Yeah. It's those three, that was the trinity of found footage. I mean, you know, in terms of YouTube series, that was it.
Yeah.
Slender Man was huge, and we loved it so much we started our own Slender series, you know.
We did.
And I watched it recently, and I loved it. So
I made a playlist. I forgot about that.
Yep. Watched all of them.
Oh.
Showed a friend of mine, and he was like, "Oh, dude, this is for two young lads, and actually having a cohesive story. This is really impressive."
Dude, what was I gonna tell you? Oh, the fucking the big those are the big three. It reminded me of that song from Kendrick. Man, fuck the big three. It's just big me, and it's fucking Marble Hornets on top.
Right.
But look, there's no beef between them. I'm sorry, everybody. It's just funny. Just wordplay is funny stuff. But yeah, though, dude.
We watched all of
Stepping Stones.
all three of those channels. We watched everything. Everything, even the breakoff channels that they created as one of the characters' YouTube channels, even all those stuff, you know. And yeah, man, found footage is a huge place in our hearts. I'm still not on Blair Witch too hard. I don't love it. It brought the genre into existence in a sense, in terms of grabbing attention, and I respect it, you know. But this stuff, found footage movies, Paranormal Activity, that whole genre, like Taking Deborah Logan, like that, all like the movies that have branched off from Blair Witch, is why I'm thankful for Blair Witch, but I'm not a huge fan of it. However, I've always been a big YouTube horror guy, and it's making a huge comeback. YouTube horror by itself is making a huge comeback. Like I just watched the Imposter series. Alex Kister, shout out to you. All these young guys, like Alex Kister and the guy who made the Backrooms movie that's soon to be released, like they were all very young when they started. They were like, I think Alex Kister was like 17 and Alex Kister was in college. I could be wrong, but like, dude, we're going to see a lot of good stuff. Horror's making a comeback, found footage is making a comeback, and it hasn't really popped off yet, and I think the Backrooms movie will kind of inspire the found footage subgenre to come back alive, because there really isn't many right now. And if there are, they're not great. And we're going to talk about Missing Couple. To
piggyback off that.
Go ahead.
With the resurgence in like found footage and analog horror, we're about to see an analog horror found footage franchise turn into regular film.
Feature
like
films?
Regular film.
What kind of what is it?
Hell House.
Oh yeah?
Hell House is going from found footage
to feature film.
To feature
like not
like a traditional film.
Traditional film. That's interesting.
Yeah, their newest trailer, I don't know if it's trailer or like their shots being released. It's leaving the found footage behind and adopting traditional filmmaking.
I mean, we're not going to know how it is until we see it, but kind of a letdown, because the found footage element is what makes it so real.
Yeah.
That's the reason why the Slender Man channels in the early 2010s, that's why they got so many heads and why they had such a big fan base. Yeah, I thought it was real.
Yeah. Then we had the fucking Slender Man movie. We don't talk about that one.
Yeah, we don't talk about the Slender Man movie. We don't talk about that movie. One of the biggest letdowns, one of the biggest cinematic letdowns of my life.
We were so hyped. We're like we said, we started a series. These are like, we were in that shit.
Yeah, we were in it.
We were Slender Man mythos junkies.
We're in the lore, like
the lore,
the game.
Yeah. And then as soon as we heard the movie's coming out, we're like, oh shit.
Yeah, man.
And we saw the movie.
You had so much content. You had so many forms of content to go off of. The creepypastas, the people writing stories online, all those channels on YouTube. Drop the ball hard.
You know what that reminds me of?
Star Wars?
Kennedy. We don't have any source material to base these off of.
Whatever. Glad she's gone, but still, the damage has been done.
Damage is already done.
Nick and I were just talking, and I went to Disney World, and I went to the Star Wars land, and it's just mid. Yeah, I didn't even see Kylo. Like, the best stuff was like the Millennium Falcon and the ship tour.
Any hint of the original trilogy was the best part.
It didn't feel like Star Wars to me.
You know, wait, have you been okay? So this is something I haven't talked to Jacob about. I don't know if he's been up to date. Have you been seeing any Star Wars theory stuff lately?
No.
I haven't paid
any attention to it.
He visited a theme park recently. Exact same reaction.
Yeah, like
he's been on it, dude. He's been cooking.
No, he's great. Like, Star Wars theory is great. Theory sabers are probably the best. Like NeoPixel sabers that you can buy. They're the best, and you could fight with them, which is awesome. You could duel with them. They're durable.
One day, we shall own them.
One day we shall. We're gonna get to Missing Couple.
We're gonna get to Missing Couple.
We're gonna do that now.
Yes.
So, first impressions, didn't know what to expect. Never heard of it. And again, this is how found footage is nowadays at the moment. You just go on Amazon, go on Tubi, and you're gonna have a lot of low budget found footage movies that are probably not that good.
Going in blind.
going in blind, which is fine. I mean, I love going into movies blind. That's why I don't like watching the trailers nowadays because they're so revealing. And honestly, it's more exciting to just go see a movie that you know nothing about.
True.
Obviously, you can get a hint at what it's about, but you go with that. You go with your gut. Have fun. So, Missing Couple was actually pretty cool because the creators of the movie, and the two of them were the actual actors and actresses in the movie. They actually have their own van life TikTok that is actually real. So originally they were van life people, and they're like, oh, let's make a movie. So they just literally made a movie with themselves and then a couple writers. Honestly, not too notable, but I will say just their names. We have Austin and Jana Jenkins, and they had the TikTok, and they were in the movie. They helped create it. You had a writer called I don't want to say
Jax?
Jacqui?
Jax? Just say Jax.
Jax Adeline and Oliver Malden, and they did a lot of the writing. And I'm sure that the Jenkins couple had a hand in it, obviously. But I was pleasantly surprised with this because one thing that this movie has done is it keeps the found footage feel alive. It's a very easy watch. And I don't mean that just like philosophically, but like when you watch it, it does a great job absorbing you into the environment and the atmosphere. Like when you're watching it, you can feel it out to the point where, because you ask yourself questions whenever you watch a horror movie or found footage movie, like, does this feel real? Does this feel authentic to like what could actually happen? And honestly, a lot of the time when I was watching this movie, I felt that it did. I felt that it was immersive. I felt that it was a solid job done in terms of the found footage elements. And there wasn't a lot of missteps. Like the story was there. It didn't give you too much. It didn't give you too little. It gave you enough information to understand what was happening, why they're there, who these people are. And things unraveled, and in a good way. And I like found footage movies, honestly, that just start and then end. Because then it's truly found footage. Like sometimes you'll have text in the beginning and the end, which the beginning did. I like how it just ends. The footage is done, and it's literally found footage.
Piggybacking off of that, I'll say I agree with most of what Jacob said. I found it immersive. I felt like it was pretty, felt like a genuine story being told to us, like an actual couple had gone missing. Wow. Renovating or moving into a new place. And the only thing I will say that my little like that had me was there were moments where like they hinted at what could be going on the land on the property, but we never really got like a clear confirmation of what was what. And it's kind of ambiguous. I don't know if it was meant to be, but you never really truly know what happened to the couple or what happened to the third party that was there investigating their disappearance to begin with. So you do find out things about that guy. I don't know, Jacob, want to elaborate?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the ambiguity was fine because in a found footage movie or series like on YouTube, you're going to get ambiguity because it's supposed to be found footage. You're not always meant to know all the information. And in this movie's case, I thought it was fine because you were learning this third-party investigator, that we think is just a regular third-party investigator. He knows as much as we do. And that's cool because we are literally quite taken into the situation. And we learn what the characters learn as they learn it or as the footage shows. And that's why I like that element, because it was honest. And it wasn't going to place answers in your lap, But at the same time, it wasn't too ambiguous where like you didn't know what the hell was going on. Like you got an idea,
Mm-hmm.
and when it comes to found footage, the idea of what this villain is, what the situation is, what the environment is, that's what really feeds the liking to the genre. Like in Marble Hornets, you have so many episodes, but you really have
Mm-hmm.
no idea what's going on. You only know as much as the footage shows and what the person who is watching the footage tells you.
Yeah.
And even like VHS, for example, like we enjoy watching the VHS movies.
Mm-hmm.
In the first movie, you have this. I forgot what it was exactly, like a succubus in a sense.
Yeah,
It
it's like a
was
vampire shit.
like a vampire, and like you don't know what happens or who she is, but that's the element. That's like the beauty, I guess you can call, of why found footage movies work. And I think they did it okay. I think they did it good. To be honest, I think it was done just right. But of course, like it's a very imperfect movie, but
Mm-hmm.
it gives you enough information, and when you learn it, you'll learn it with them, and it keeps you invested, in my opinion.
Yeah. I was invested thoroughly throughout the whole film, even up to the end. Even if, like, for me, I was like kind of questioning, like, what the fuck is actually happening here? Like, what are these, or who's that, or what, like, I still couldn't take my eye away from it. I was still
Mm-hmm.
glued to the screen throughout the whole thing, and with the little revelations that, for me at least, that I did get, um, with certain characters. By the end of the movie, I was like, okay, this is fun. This is a fun time.
Yeah,
It wasn't bad.
and we can get into some
I could.
specifics for sure. Like
So
acting was cool. It was fine.
acting was, yeah, it was believable.
It was believable.
It was believable, and I like the way that they framed, uh, not just like framed, blamed anything, but I like the way they framed their dynamic and their relationship, the couple,
Mm-hmm.
because the third party investigator, he insinuates certain things about the
The husband.
boyfriend slash husband,
Yeah.
and before that, you're kind of like, okay, this guy's just a dick. But after he says that, you're kind of like, oh wait, maybe he's right.
Or maybe
Maybe
he's
something is
overthinking
there's.
it. Maybe he's right. Like
Hmm.
so, like you're invested into the story where you actually start thinking about the characters in a deeper manner as well.
Exactly.
And of course, the reveal that he is the stalker.
Yeah.
And it was cool. What's cool too is like they don't straight out say it, but
Mm-mm.
they write him well enough to where you recognize that holy crap, this is the guy, without him even saying that. Like we only get the incident explanation from the wife really,
Yeah.
and we still just think that's just a random person, and that it's like okay, this is why they moved out here. They get away and they're traumatized, and there's a physical altercation, but like the realization that that's the guy based only off of what his behavior
Yeah.
is impressive
Hmm.
because it's done with just enough like spice where you're given, if you're smart enough, you could realize like holy crap, that's him, and you're
Yeah.
conflicted because he's trying to do something good for them and finding them, but also like he has an agenda,
Ulterior motive.
and like
Yeah.
he's obsessed with this girl in particular,
Hmm.
but it's done in such a way where it was believable in terms of because he was probably the best actor of the whole thing. There's only like three actors and actresses, but
Yeah.
like everybody else was actually like real people. But the realization that he is the stalker and the way they do it is honestly really solid, really solid. It sold me.
I
It
agree.
sold me.
Yeah. I was throughout the whole thing. I'm like, oh, this guy's like a good guy. He's out here looking for people, trying to save lives. He's like, that's the whole point of his channel. And then the as he goes through more shit like they did, you start to see that like heroic persona unravel into the I know it was her husband. I know he did, or boyfriend. I know he did something to her. I know he's like, and then at the very end, he's basically like, I'm gonna save her. I'm gonna bring her back. We're gonna be good. We're gonna be okay. And it's just like, or like paraphrasing, but like along those lines. And you could tell he's like, oh fuck, like
Yeah, like holy crap, it's him.
this guy is not okay. This guy's
Yeah,
not the hero we thought he was.
right. Like he's sticking his neck out there, which is cool.
Yeah,
Um,
for the wrong reasons.
for the wrong reasons. Um, yeah, I like the elements of realism. You know, they're in an actual environment that is exactly the way that they're talking about it because they're literally there.
Hmm.
You know, where they have
Yeah,
where the cabin is actually, like the house. Like I have no idea, but it seems like it's literally where they describe it to be.
in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and like in just this town that's been dying. Not only
I
that,
like, yeah.
the Camp Van Dorn slaughter is a real conspiracy, and the military base that they had there was also real. It's like they
Oh
actually
shit.
everything was actually legitimate in terms of
Incorporate real life story and stuff. No.
all the military influence and the alleged slaughter. That's all legitimate storytelling. And I'm sure that the museum they went to, that's legit. The people who worked at the library and worked at the museum, I don't know for sure, but it seems like that was actually legitimate.
Hmm.
Like
That's dope.
they call the slaughter. If you go to Wikipedia, at least they call the slaughter a racial hoax,
Mm.
and it was popularized in a self-published book called "The Slaughter: An American Atrocity," and the person's name was Carol Case. Part one has 54 pages of purported history, and part two has 200 plus pages, which is like a quote unquote fictionalized account of the alleged events. No hard evidence has been found to support Case's allegations, despite
Mm.
a more than year-long investigation by the Department of Defense, and most observers have dismissed this claim. But allegedly, like in the town in the movie that's being said, like that's a very well-known
Hmm.
belief. But in terms of like the country, even if the Department of Defense was on the case, like things are swept under the rug in this country
All the
all the
time.
time. So you never
Hmm.
really know.
Like right now, we're in an occupied state, technically, as a country. We don't run ourselves. We're being run by some other outside force.
Oh yeah,
That's a topic for another day, but I like how after shit started happening with the girlfriend and wife,
wife.
um, she starts to actually is like, I have some free time. Let me do some digging. And then like you
Right.
mentioned, she goes and starts getting interviewing these people and like learning about the history of the place. That was like something that you'd never really see. Not really. So it was refreshing to see a character that be like, let me take initiative and do some shit.
Yeah,
Like figure out what's going on. And that was really refreshing.
but just genuinely
Um,
interested in the land that they're living in now. Like you're seeing, like
and
like it is true that that military base stretches out really far, and they were finding those like stone bases of where buildings should have been. So like, I
mhm,
do wonder if like the area that they're actually in was the base, and I think it probably was as well.
probably. Um, one of the things that I really going on the more technical side of things, one of the things I really did love about the film was their use of the trail cams and like night vision. 'Cause in other movies they'll try to emulate night vision and like trail cam footage, and it looks like shit because they're putting like a green filter over it. It's not actual night vision. You could tell when the eyes are glowing or when they're not glowing. What you can see, and this one it's like because of their budget they had to use what was available. They had to use real shit, and you'll see like the trail cams are doing like fucking 6 frames a second or something,
Yeah, yeah,
and it adds to that realism so much. It has it and it also adds for some interesting shots and some beautiful shots because these aren't the green night vision cameras, these are black and white. And on top of the just like having the black and white footage and you're seeing like basically like stop motion, you're getting the sounds of like the thunder and like running and screaming and all that stuff while you're seeing it, and it's so cool. It's such a cool experience. Um, and that kept me glued to it as well. That's another reason I couldn't keep my eyes off
Yeah,
of
I
it.
agree. That's the realism. It's as if Nick and I went out, bought a bought a camcorder or two with night vision, and bought trail cams. It's literally
Exactly.
yeah, it's exactly what it was. I think in terms of the special effects, it worked. There were some moments where it was kind of spotty, but
Mhm.
again, you have to take into account like their budget wasn't high, probably in a
Low
lot of
budget.
ways, but they definitely invested something to it. Obviously, they
Oh
they
yeah.
got all that equipment. They had an editor. Whether they edited it
Hmm.
themselves, I don't know, but like they did a solid job with what they had. And the special effects with like the black beings, whether they are soldiers of the past, whether they're evil entities still haunting the place, um, we don't fully know, but we do know that there is a very strong paranormal influence. I think
Hmm.
the majority of the special effects all worked and didn't really take me out of it
Yeah.
too much. Too much.
No, I genuinely felt like with the shadow beings in the cabin at times, because there was like these weird shadow things moving around at moments. I'd be like, dude, that actually looks real. Like
Hmm.
compared to like footage that people have said, like, oh, this is ghost footage. I'm like, it looks like ghost footage. Like
There's the footage of when he has the trail cam on his tent
mm-hmm.
and you see it come out from the woods and it like circles his camp. I
That
was
was
like, oh,
wild.
I was like, cool. And then there's the one when he's in the bedroom and he hears the creaking in the hallway and then it finally appears and gets next to his bed and it runs up and shuts off the camera or whatever.
Hmm.
Like there's another. I think this brings in a really interesting aspect of the paranormal
Hmm.
because it's able to influence reality. You have the scenes where the same type of beings look like they're just people. I mean, in the movie, there are probably just people out there with torches, but
Yeah.
um, it left me a little confused sometimes because I'm like, is this a real person?
Yeah.
Is this pure paranormal manifestation, like really strong paranormal, manifestation? Like, were all the seeds replaced by bullets? Was that paranormal, or was it real people? Um,
That yeah, I got that
there are
too. I
elements
was
like
like,
that where you're not quite sure if like it's meant to be a real person or if it's meant to be purely paranormal. And I think like I said before, having elements that are ambiguous is fine, and it's kind of what drives the found footage genre. But in this sense, like I wasn't genuinely, in terms of like the story and what they were trying to present, I really
mhm.
wasn't sure like what was supposed to be a manifestation or an entity or a real person. Like when the near
Yeah.
the like in the third act when they're looking through the windows of the house and they see the place surrounded with people holding torches, it is presented as just these all black beings in a sense, but like at the same
Yeah.
time I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's supposed to be beings or I don't know if it's supposed to be people. Like I still don't. I'm still not really fully sure.
I couldn't tell either, and that's something that I also was dealing with while watching it. I was because you're introduced to everything that's happening to them in a supernatural aspect, and then it starts diving into like just straight up physical black entities.
Right.
And like Jacob said, you're kind of like torn, like, wait, the fuck is that? Like, is it this
Yeah.
or is it this? And it it bothers me a little bit because that's one of the things I was like I wanted an answer to. I wanted like I'm cool with ambiguous stuff, but like at least let me know what we're dealing with to a degree. Because if we're leaning towards supernatural, let's lean towards supernatural. If we're not leaning towards supernatural, let's not lean towards supernatural.
I mean,
If it's a cult,
yeah. Yeah.
then let's go with cult. Like make it very known that it's like make it kind of more obvious it's a cult.
I mean, you can
But
have a
it just
cult with like supernatural entities around. Like I get that if it's like a
yeah.
satanic cult or something like that. Like uh, Paranormal Activity, for example, great
Hmm.
example because you had real people and then you had the demons or the demon.
Yeah.
You know, You saw both. But
Exactly.
it was known, just like the reveal of the investigator, you're able to put pieces together. In this sense,
Hmm.
there's not pieces to put together, whether it's real people or not. You're just kind of left to assume.
Yeah. But for me, I like just a little ounce of something would have been nice. Little like, hey,
Yeah.
hey,
I mean,
this
it's
is what that
obvious.
is.
Yeah, it's obvious that the paranormal element's real. I mean, we see the beings coming out of the
Yeah.
water of like the basement of the house
That
that
was
used to be
dope.
there. Yeah, that looked good. And then of course the investigator at the end was thrown into it in a sense, or tripped or fell. I forget, but
That was so sick though.
yeah, you liked it.
Like anything revolving around that part was so dope, dude.
And at the end,
It was so
when
dope.
he falls in, and then you see the couple. And that's the thing too. It's like, okay, the couple's now dead. Are they forced, or are they just kind of there now, haunting as well? And
Are
they hold hands, watching. It's like, oh, they finally won over
are
their
they malevolent
obsessor.
beings now?
Yeah, are they malevolent beings now, or like, is it them? Is it not them? I mean, the vibe I'm getting is like the deaths of all those soldiers are still haunting that place, and now they're a part of it. That's kind of what I'm getting from it.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like you've become part of the residuals or the
yeah,
information
and
whole thing.
also like they're not great because they literally kind of helped kill that guy, and like
Exactly.
they hold hands about it. It's like, all right, this is interesting. I do want to point out like two continuity issues.
Yeah.
One would be in the third act when they light you have the house is surrounded by people with torches in a sense, and they set like a fire in the yard. Very big fire.
Yeah, I remember that.
But then when they go to run out of the house, it's gone. There's
It's
no
just black,
fire.
right?
There's no fire.
Yeah.
That's like a huge continuity thing that I caught. Was like fire. Next scene, well, next shot, no fire.
Fire
And
was supernatural.
yeah, whatever. And and the other supernatural element would be, well, the other inconsistency I should say with the paranormal is you had the scene when the investigator, right before he dies, he drives his car and tracks down this being that's holding a torch. The
Hmm.
being then lights a fire, and he goes up to it to track him down, but also to observe the fire, and he finds the pictures that, that's the thing too. Like, things went missing in the house. It was wrapped up in gifts and then dropped at the doorstep. Like, was it a person? It feels that way,
Yeah.
And
But then Hank,
yeah, we
like,
like
who?
it feels like it could be both. I don't know. And the people with the torches felt like people, and if it was people, okay. But if it wasn't, it's just they used what they had at their disposal and had to use real people
Mhm.
lighting the fire. That's fine. Um, so the guy drives out with his car to follow the light, stops the car, gets out of the car, and the car has a dash cam and it's filming everything he's doing. Then he gets out of the
Yeah.
car, goes to follow the person. It goes into the woods. He looks at the fire. Then the thing approaches him from out of the woods. He
Mhm.
starts running away, and he runs past his car.
Yeah, I noticed that too at the end. I was
Like,
like, dude, you literally parked like a couple feet away.
dude, like even in like Mr. Nightmare stories, when people have a car that they know is there, they tend to go right back to it. And it's like why don't you just go back in your car? Why did you just run into the darkness of the woods? You literally ran right past your vehicle. And that was like, okay, I know you're setting the spot up for when he finally gets thrown into the water,
Yeah.
but
Make it make sense.
at least have him get in the car. He drives, and then the car stops, and like all the electronics stops working. You can't start it. Like, do that kind of thing. You just ran
Yeah.
past it.
He just said,
Yeah. Talk about a well prepared investigator.
yeah, there's no defending that. There's no like, oh, maybe you so scared. No, dude, go to shelter. He ran straight to the fucking water.
Yeah. And he was just
One
there.
structure in the
Eventually, he
woods.
just got there. And like, as far as I'm concerned, like where he was versus where the water was pretty far away.
Yeah.
At least from like my perception of watching it. It could have been closer. But I feel like that jump from when he's running to when he's at the water was like a little too quick. Where it's like, okay, maybe it is pretty close to where he was. But if he got in the car and drove, it would have been way different. Because like he could have drove the car.
Yeah.
The entity stops the car to where it wants him to stop and get out. Versus him like just finding them. Versus like them, I guess, chasing him towards it. You know, and he doesn't realize where he is. Mm-hmm. He's right in front of it. Like, I don't know. Like, those two things, the fire not there after it was just there, and then him running past his car. And there's another thing on the trivia. There's only one trivia on IMDb. Mm-hmm. But it's like when the guy gets to the house, he could easily just go around the gate, but he jumps it. Like, the gate has openings on both sides. Like, a car can't fit through, but, like, you can just walk around. He doesn't walk around. He jumps it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that now. I'm like, wait,
that's about it. He just jumps it. Like, makes an effort to, like, takes time to jump. Yeah, like, I could have just, like, walked around.
It's like, dude, I'm really cool. In case you forgot, I'm that guy.
Maybe it was a sign of his, reveal. I don't know. Like, his character. Not like the character of the movie, but like the character's character.
He does everything harder. He does it the hard way.
He does it in a way that kind of shows him off, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, he seems pretty humble, but like, did you just walk around the gate? I don't know.
Just take a step. Take a step.
Yeah.
Go around.
But like, there's not much to say about this movie besides what we just said. Like, there's not too much meat, but that's fine. It works.
It's condensed. It's a condensed movie.
Like, Slender Man could be a lot less dense, and it could still work.
Yeah.
Because originally it wasn't that dense. Being It Takes Children shows up in the woods, leaves notes around. Paranormal, got tentacles. It's like, all right, that's interesting. What else we got?
It's like, sir, what do we have in terms of lore for this thing? I don't know. It looks like it was some dude from Germany, like, first wrote about it, and it's got like stalked kids in the 50s and the 60s. Yeah, we can't do anything with that. Okay, how about this? It's like a sickness that infects people and turns them against each other. No, we can't do that. It's stupid.
But that's what
if it just appears? What if it just appears? And scares people, and that's it.
The beauty about creepypastas was that it was just that. It was nothing, like just very vague stories of a character that's just made up, and then people love the idea, and then they create more ideas, and that's the beginning. That's the seeds planted, and it grows. And then people. That's what I love about found footage movies. That's what I love about YouTube series. That's what I love about. The horror community is that they're able to have all these ideas and they go out themselves and go expound. They make content, they make series, they make movies. Like, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. And honestly, props to these people who are literal van life people and just made a movie. Like a full hour and a half of solid content.
Yeah. It's not a bad movie. For like what the stuff that we complain about, it has more going for it.
There's other films that are found footage that are just horrible.
True.
Man, like I watched Quarantine, which is a remake of Rec, R-E-C,
mm-hmm.
The Spanish movie, and I loved Rec. Is one of my favorite found footage movies. The first and second movie are just honestly great. They're close to being masterpieces in terms of found footage. Like, they're just so... The story's great. It keeps you surprised, keeps you interested in wondering what's actually going on. The second movie, you learn a lot more. I mean, I love found footage. And I guess the best way to put this movie is that it was just a really solid, well-done, immersive found footage movie.
Yes.
And that's a good thing, but also could be a little bit of a letdown because there wasn't much to it, but there was enough, and it's a good. Like, I won't forget it. That's important too. I if I made this movie, I'd be pretty happy with it.
I'd be pretty satisfied.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, I'd be pretty satisfied, I think. Because not only are you creating something that might have been like with the vision in your mind that you've executed, you've got people talking.
Right.
It's got the attention of people.
Yeah.
The masses are doing what they do and spreading the word.
And you could have a
And
sequel
one
on
of
this that'll
the
actually be really solid. You could make a sequel off of this.
you could. You could. There's room.
There's a lot of
There's room for
room.
that.
Might be too much room, but there's room. And do you have
Shit,
any
man. No, I
other?
want a sequel.
You have any
I want a
other?
sequel.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. They
I
could
want a
definitely do
sequel.
it. I mean, if you know, I don't know how much money it's going to make them, or what it has made them. Again, like I don't care for online ratings
Yeah.
because if you're gonna go watch a movie, it all matters is what you think.
Yeah.
But you know, I could see like a couple of their followers going out there, or like perhaps it becomes more of an investigation and cops get involved or something. I don't know, but like maybe you could learn more about the entities, and you could learn more about if there are actual humans out there, which it seems like they're really. If they
Like
did
a
that,
cult.
yeah, like something like a cult or
Yeah.
just like a deranged people that gone crazy from this dying land, and they're just like get off our land, and they just go to extreme measures, you know.
Yeah.
So
I can see that.
yeah, I don't really have any closing statement for the movie, but like I think
Mm.
all I'll say is that this is a really good start. I would say in terms of low budget, like this carries the original, I would say, essence of what found footage is,
Yeah.
and it's kind of bringing back that old style feeling, like old. We're considering what
Yeah.
was released like 10 years ago, old style, but um, even like late 2000s. But like this carries the soul of what found footage should be, and you have these two
Yeah.
people who like had an idea, they went with the story, gave enough lore to where it was interesting, enough ambiguity to where it was interesting, maybe too much ambiguity, but like this is good to see, and I hope people will take this and be like, I could do this too.
Yeah.
And aside from that realm, with the analog horror popping off, with horror movies coming out and being solid, like actual
Hmm.
good horror movies, found footage coming back in a stronger force. I mean, of course, we've had VHS, we've had Taking Deborah Logan, and those were all great. But like after those, I mean, VHS is still alive, but you still haven't had any really good found footage
Found
stuff
footage.
in almost like 10 years.
I think we're gonna get the first one with the backrooms because
I
that's
think
being
so.
backed by A24.
Yeah, a lot of
And
potential
if they
there.
feel confident enough, dude, they'll bring it.
Yeah,
They'll
like
bring
I
it to
hope they don't
theaters.
give it the Slender Man treatment.
I hope they don't just do it direct to fucking VOD.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, they
I hope they
might.
don't. Yeah,
They might
either
because
treatment. I hope
yeah,
they don't do either treatment.
yeah, like they might do that. And with
Mhm.
the guy who made one of the most profound backrooms series on YouTube, even if the studio's like, all right, we love what you did, but this shouldn't be found footage. If he could still, like, I would like to see what he does.
Yeah.
Versus like I don't know who's doing the Hell House stuff. I don't know if like they sold the name and the rights to it, but I that's something I could look up. But
Yeah.
if it's just a studio doing like a Slenderman treatment, it's like I'm scared for it. You know.
Yeah.
Granted, a feature film being horribly done doesn't affect the legacy. Um,
It
even though
essentially would
you
be
know
like Game of Thrones. Just don't look at the last season.
Star Wars, like don't look at the new stuff. It's like
Just don't look at the sequel series.
yeah, it's gonna be like that, which is fine, and it's easy. It's easy to do that if you just
Yeah.
let down your expectations and just, like let go. You
What
keep
did that-
holding on. Yeah. Like just let go and like enjoy what you know is good. And like that's why like I watched the Slender Man movie and just like kicked it out of my mind because like, that
Dude.
was just garbage. It's like
Dude.
I went back to like watching Marble Hornets, like gave it a little taste, a little bit of a watch. Didn't watch the whole thing, but like this is
Just a taste.
yeah, just a taste. Like this is what it is, man. This is
So
the
good.
soul right here.
It's I just remember like our reactions like after the movie ended and just like looking at each other like Just walking out, just
Like this expression, like when I watch the movie, is like,
yeah,
you know,
exactly. And then just walking out and just being like,
so painful,
"What the
dude.
fuck was that?"
It's painful to watch that movie.
That was excruciating.
I think I had a friend there who was seeing something else. I remember this actually. Like I think it was maybe Val or somebody, but like they were at the movies too because you were up at New York by me or something.
Yeah, I was
And
visiting.
yeah, and I was going to see Slender Man, and like my friend was there
Yeah.
seeing something else. He was like, "Oh, you saw Slender Man?" Like, yeah. Like, how was it? Sucked. Horrible.
Fuck.
Like, don't
So
go see
bad.
that. Yeah, like don't go see that movie. And I explained to that person like, oh, like we know Slender Man very well and it's part of our lives. And yeah, I remember that just like getting out of the theater and just like totally dropping a nuke on
Going
it.
in. Just
Yeah.
going in on it.
But like this is a good sign. Missing Couple is a good sign. I commend the couple, the Jenkins couple.
Yeah.
Your marriage looks beautiful and great
Did
job.
great in the film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great. You guys did great acting. I think if anything,
Very believable.
yeah, very believable. I think if anything, the husband maybe took me out of it maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
But not enough for me to like not say good job. Like you both did a
Yeah.
good job. Writers, solid job. Like you guys did a great
Mhm.
job with this. And again, like
It's a great entry to
great
like
entry.
you're trying to get into found footage.
Yeah,
I
for
feel like
sure.
it's subtle enough and easy enough to follow and keep you immersed without like overdoing it, and making you be like, "Oh fuck, I can never watch one of these."
Yeah. Like I could see somebody seeing
Like,
VHS and be like, "Oh, I don't like that genre." You know.
yeah, it's
You
too
know.
much
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
This is a good stepping stone into like that style of filmmaking, that style of
Yeah.
movies,
Like
that
what
genre of movies.
for sure. Like watching VHS as a first timer is like watching Terrifier for like a first timer watching a slasher film.
Yeah.
You know. Um.
Yeah.
But yeah. Like I'm really happy about it. Very pleased. And like I said, I have hopes for the future. I have really high hopes. Not expectations, but I have high hopes.
Mhm.
So
I do as well.
yeah, I do for sure. I mean, in terms of what I gave this movie on the
Yeah.
Letterboxd,
I hear it.
I
Has it
gave this
changed?
movie I gave it a 3. I just gave it a solid 3.
Okay.
I could probably give it a 3.5, but I think 3 is comfy. Because like I said,
I
for
gave it
all the solid, Nick gave it a 2.5.
I
When I
boosted up to a 3 after this conversation.
Okay, that's good. It was again everything that it provides. It doesn't. I don't think it deserves anything below a 3. Now another
Yeah.
found footage that we watched after this one definitely does not
Are we
deserve
gonna
a 3.
talk about it? Are we gonna talk about
No,
it?
I won't talk about it now. We'll do the whole, we could
Do you
do
want to just like skim it and then just put it in title?
No, it's fine. We could drop bombs on that one for we could. I think we should do a whole another review for that just for the fun of it, honestly, because we
Yeah,
can
I'm
just
down.
take our time with it.
I'm down.
But I'll give this a solid 3 because I think it deserves it, and I think it could teeter to a 3.5. But I think just a 3 is a compliment. 3 out of
feel like
5 is a compliment.
It's strong at that 3. I think it's strong where it is.
Yeah, and like if you
It
think about
it
it,
knows
right?
what it is.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's a good thing. If you know what your film is, that's gonna support it even more. And if you think about it, if you're giving something half, full, like in terms of 5 stars and on Letterboxd, if you're only able to give like half stars and full stars, 2.5 is technically in the middle. So if you're, because that's a perfect division off of 5, but if you give it a 3, it's technically better than halfway. So it's definitely a compliment. And we do have a tier list for all of you who are not aware. We have at the bottom Salt and Burn It. Shout out to Supernatural. Straight to the Grave is above that. So Bad It's Good. Put It on a Shirt. Scarred for Life. And Therapy Required. I would say, if anything,
That's
put
tough.
Put It on a Shirt. Like, I will go to this, like, if I just had money to fling around, like, I would, if this page had a website, I'd buy their shirt.
I think
like,
you do.
If they do, like, I would buy it. If I had, like, if it was comfortable financially, I could buy that shirt. I would support
I'd
it.
be down.
Closing comments. I'm pretty comfortable.
I feel good. Feel good.
So,
Pretty
if you guys want to, if you got Tubi, go check it out on Tubi. On Prime Video, it's $4. So, is it worth $4? Well, think of it this way. A movie ticket on a discount days ranges from $4 to like $8.50.
Sure.
So, like, if you want to give it a go, give it a go. Me, I don't care about spending $4 on a movie because I love watching movies. And it is cheaper than going to the movies, for the most part. I recommend it if you want to get into found footage a little bit, get an idea.
Mm-hmm.
If you're already a fan of found footage and you want a found footage to watch, you're just in the mood, just like me and Nick do. Like, we're just in the mood for found footage movies. We'll just go watch one. Even if it's bad, it's still a found footage movie.
It's still a found footage movie.
Yeah, and just like if you're a horror fan like we are, we can have fun watching a bad movie. That's why we even have the category So Bad It's Good, because some horror movies are legitimately not good at all, but it's still a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in a sense, there's a lot of good things to say about it just because it's bad.
Yeah.
So
you'll be seeing Snow White in that category soon.
Oh
so,
my gosh. No, I'm not even gonna go see that movie. I'm glad it bombed.
Me too.
Yeah.
But for different reasons.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe different reasons.
Probably similar. We'll talk.
What's your reason?
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So Missing Couple. Hope you enjoyed the review. We talk a little bit, but I hope you enjoyed. And go check it out for yourself. Yeah, man. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Let us know where you would want to put this on our tier list and how many stars you would give it as well. All right. Well, I'm Jacob.
I'm Nick.
Peace.
Peace.